This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Hey everybody, welcome to our home away from home. So glad you tuned in to another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. For the next half hour, our home is your home. Straight ahead on the program, now that the PED virus has been found in Georgia, the important info you need to know about the virus and what's being done to hopefully prevent more cases. Also on the show, a special look at the forestry industry here in Georgia and how one man's efforts is making a major difference.
And then later, making a difference in the classroom using animals. Ranger Nick talks to a Jackson County ag teacher who says she has discovered the secret to getting more kids involved in agriculture. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. First discovered in 2013, the porcine epidemic diarrhea virus, also known as PED, has now found its way to the state of Georgia, and along with it, some misinformation about the virus. According to the Georgia Department of Agriculture, as of March 5th, 7 known positive samples of PED have been verified. The first known positive from 2 samples taken during the Junior National Livestock Show, February 18th through the 21st at the Georgia State Fairgrounds in Perry. Now, in order to get a better understanding of the virus, the Monitor sat down with Georgia State veterinarian Dr. Robert Cobb, who says he has personally had multiple communications with neighboring state veterinarians, as well as those from other states that have experience in dealing with PED.
PED is not a food safety issue, nor is it a public health issue. This is a swine production disease issue. People who have swine and people who visit swine areas need to realize this virus is extremely infectious, and it takes a very, very small amount of this virus to infect a pig. The virus can be transmitted to a pig from another pig through fecal contact, or even on trailer tires, trucks, clothes, boots, anything that can transmit this virus from point A to point B. We have inspectors present at this show, and their purpose is to examine certificates of veterinary inspection or health certificates and actually observe each and every animal as it's offloaded. We found no evidence of disease when these animals were brought to this show. They arrived on a Wednesday, and it wasn't until a Friday when some of these animals began to exhibit signs of diarrhea and vomiting. Incubation period is very, very short. It's 36 hours, which means that pigs appear normal, and 36 hours later they can start developing symptoms, and about 4 to 5 days is when they really start showing these symptoms. And it affects all ages of pigs. It can affect baby pigs and cause death. Some of your older pigs will exhibit signs of being off feed, having diarrhea, vomiting, and then they lots of times will get over it and be asymptomatic, but yet shed the virus for several months beyond that. And for that reason, it means that the virus is easily spread around the environment. The positive samples have been traced back to multiple areas of the state. It's not just one area that's affected. There were up to 90 counties exhibiting animals at this show, and 1,300 plus pigs and over 500 exhibitors were present from these 90 counties. And so it's considered that anyone who was present at the show, or any animal that was present at the show, or any equipment, vehicle, or trailer that was present at the show could potentially have carried this virus back to all parts of the state. Biosecurity is a term that means that you develop a clean, dirty line. On one side of that line is the world, and on your side of that line, you control what comes and goes, and actually control what gets cleaned, that everything gets cleaned, and that you disinfect. And this is a way to keep any disease, PED included, from contaminating your environment. The commercial swine industry has for years been very biosecurity knowledgeable and have practiced biosecurity very diligently. And they have even increased their biosecurity since PED has made the scene. And it's for this reason, I believe, that we don't have PED in our commercial group. Normal standard operating procedure for them, for every show, is to immediately clean and then disinfect whatever facility is utilized for a show. Well, not only have they done that, but they're going above and beyond and dismantling pens, cleaning and disinfecting again, and then placing these pens out into the sunlight, which will help to kill any other virus that may potentially have avoided the disinfectant. And then they are coming back with a second kind of disinfectant to disinfect pens and facilities again. There are currently 2 vaccines that are approved for use for PED in swine. However, vaccines have been demonstrated to be effective in herds that have already been exposed to the virus, and therefore they can help prevent mortality and sickness. However, they haven't been shown to be very effective in naive herds, and that would be a herd that has never been exposed to this virus before. So it wouldn't be recommended for everybody to go out and start vaccinating their pigs for PED unless you already have it and you want to help utilize it to minimize your losses.
Yeah, and Dr. Cobb adds, had it not been for the quick response to isolate those infected pigs at the fairgrounds, the number of confirmed PED cases could have been much higher. Now, for more information on PED, as well as any new reported cases, all the info you need can be found by logging onto the website you see there. That is agr.georgia.gov.
Well, meantime, it was off to our nation's capital recently, where Georgia's young farmers were given the chance to meet face-to-face with lawmakers. Now in its 30th year, the purpose of this trip is to allow these young men and women to not only visit with lawmakers, but to learn how farm policy is actually made. Damon Jones was along for the trip.
Recently, a group of nearly 30 young farmers traded in their quiet lives on the farm for the hustle and bustle of our nation's capital, all in an effort to share their stories and concerns with lawmakers. Topics such as the new EPA water rule, mandatory GMO labeling, and of course, the Farm Bill were discussed in face-to-face meetings with their senators and representatives.
We're just excited to meet with our legislators up here in D.C. and just to make those connections and get these young farmers plugged in so that they know who their legislators are and how the legislative process works. It is really important that they know who we are. Whenever you do call or send a letter, they say, oh yeah, I do remember them.
It gave these young farmers a chance to not only meet with their legislators, but also start to build a rapport. It's one of the main goals for this annual GFB Young Farmer trip to D.C., as it allows them to see the importance of sharing their message outside their own farm.
But there's other areas of agriculture that you got to be hooked into, and at an early age my daddy taught me that what you do outside your fence rows are just as important or more important what you do inside your fence rows, and this experience for them helps them understand that, and understand how important it is to have a relationship.
And those relationships were also built within the group, as these young farmers spent 4 days together sharing stories and touring the city.
We're just excited to be in our nation's capital and to be able to see the history, see the monuments, and see everything that our nation was founded upon. So it's really cool to be up here.
So between all of the fellowship, sightseeing, and business meetings, this was a one-of-a-kind experience for all the young farmers that took part. However, they weren't the only ones to see the benefit of this trip. As the legislators, they also saw the importance of this visit.
It's critical. I think they listen to it. They'll listen to a constituent before they listen to a lobbyist. And so you want them to touch base with the legislators, to let them know it affects their daily lives. It's not simply an academic discussion about policy. It's what people do on their farms and their day-to-day lives.
I've learned years ago that going to the farm, walking in the farm, going in the barn, sitting down on a bale of hay, talking to the farmer is a whole lot more important than sending them a runoff mimeograph newsletter or something like that. So I like the personal contact. I like to understand what their problems are, and I like to know how to represent them better.
You know, the Farm Bill represents farmers all over the United States. No farm bill is perfect, and we want to get their feedback. So that was my main message, and my other message was one of encouragement, that we need them to grow, we need them to prosper, to solve the bigger question that I came up here to help get involved with, and that's our debt crisis, our fiscal irresponsibility, and to grow the economy. If you grow the economy in Georgia, you got to grow agriculture. It's half our business, and these guys are our future. I mean, I get pumped, I get energized when I talk to them. You know, they've made a decision in a very tough environment to dedicate their career to agriculture.
It's a respect Senator David Perdue was more than happy to share with Georgia Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall, as he believes the future of agriculture in Georgia is in good hands.
And he comes in and tells me how impressed he was with our young people and how much he enjoyed hearing them tell their story. And that just made me so proud of the young people that are here with us. And it made me proud of our organization getting them to make that contact. And that's what it's all about.
Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you. Up next on the Monitor, we'll show you what took place at the gala for our brand new GFB Foundation for Agriculture, the entertainment, special guest in attendance, and most importantly, the money that was raised for this incredible new adventure. Stay with us on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia Farm Monitor. Well, it goes without saying, these are exciting times for the Georgia Farm Bureau. Recently, members gathered at Stone Mountain for the inaugural gala to celebrate and raise money for the GFB Foundation for Agriculture. The evening included speeches from both GFB President Zippy Duvall as well as Rolling Stone keyboardist and environmentalist Chuck Lavelle, who also hopped behind the piano to play a few tunes. President Duvall telling us this by far one of the biggest events for Farm Bureau this year.
You know, our convention's a big event, and it's a big event to put on, but this is new and exciting, and it's about the future and partnerships. And that's what's exciting about it. All our friends are coming in and say, you know, we like what you do, and we want to be a part of that. And they're coming to show that tonight, and we're just real excited about tonight being a kickoff of something that's going to be good for generations to come.
Now, for those wishing to make a donation to the foundation or wanting to learn more about it, just log on to gfbfoundation.org. To date, the foundation has received more than $125,000 in donations.
In the last few days, we've learned from a new Georgia Forestry Commission report that the state's forest industry increased 3.6% to $16.9 billion between 2012 and 2013. With that in mind, we take a special look at the forestry industry in Georgia and how one man's vision literally boosted forestry and a few related industries. Trutland County was created by the Georgia legislature in 1917 and began operations in January 1919. Thanks to the Macon, Dublin, and Savannah Railroad, the county seat of Soperton founded as a train station, and the city quickly became known as the Million Pine City, thanks to James Fowler. Fowler's granddaughter, Justine Gillis, said her grandfather is credited with being a founding father of modern forestry.
Well, to us, he was just always Papa. Our mother used to talk about memories, of course, about our grandfather, and through the years, through different publications and so forth, we realized that he had played an instrumental role in promoting forestry in the South. He was doing things before other people were doing them. He was quite a visionary as far as being ahead of his time.
During his lifetime, Mr. Fowler planted over 7 million of these type/pine seedlings on some 10,000 acres of farmland in Trutland County.
My grandfather was one of 10 children. He was not an educated man, although he was a very brilliant man, but he did not have the opportunity to become educated. He attended, I believe, 8 grades of school, but he was one of 10 children, and I can imagine that being one of 10 and living during those times, that he wanted to succeed, and he did.
Before his death in 1963, Fowler received numerous honors for his vision.
First and foremost, they got the reforestation process going. They saw the need to replace the trees that were being harvested, and then that led to agencies such as the Georgia Forestry Commission and federal agencies such as the U.S. Forest Service to cooperate in the late 50s to early 60s with what we call a tree improvement program. And in that program, we started off improving seedlings, and by the late 60s, we had some improved slash pine available to landowners. And that was all started by the original efforts of these people, these pioneers that saw the effort or the need to reforest this acreage in Georgia.
The very first newspaper made from Fowler's pine trees used to publish the Soperton News on March 31st, 1933. Besides the copy you're looking at that belongs to the Treutlen County Library, a copy of the original edition is now in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C.
So Treutlen County has a bit of history even in the Smithsonian.
Now, Ray, you can vouch for this. Here at the Monitor, we pretty much celebrate agriculture every day. Nonetheless, in Atlanta recently, National Ag Week was launched with an event called Celebrating Ag in Georgia.
Yeah, Kenny, it brought numerous sponsors and supporters to the Georgia Freight Depot to spotlight Georgia's #1 industry. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has the story.
For one day, the historic Georgia Freight Depot housed displays from just about every Georgia commodity and other organizations that make Georgia ag so strong. Everything from the poultry industry's chicken strips to Fort Valley State's goat barbecue. Participants could load up their plates and browse the many booths and learn about this important Georgia industry. The Commissioner of Agriculture, Gary Black, believes spotlighting ag during the legislative session is a great way to grow the industry.
That means bringing the family to Atlanta to meet with the legislators, to again build the relationships across commodity lines, which is so important. Because sometimes we kind of get stovepiped in ag, and this is an event where we have an opportunity to communicate horizontally with each other, and then take that central message of the importance of ag to our elected officials.
Along with the commodity displays, attendees also got to browse a food festival. It was the Flavor of Georgia contest, and it highlights local businesses and the products they have created using Georgia commodities.
It's an opportunity for people that are producing food products here in the state to get their products out in front of the general public and also in front of buyers. We got wholesalers and retailers and distributors and brokers here that judge these products. So it's a great way for them to get out in front of people and get their products out there. We've got meat products, we've got dairy products, we've got confectionery stuff, we've got ice cream, we've got salt products, you name it, there's a smattering of a little bit of everything here.
Not only do these products provide great flavor, but they also help grow the industry as well.
With Georgia now being the second year in a row that we're the #1 place in America in which to do business, and some of that really opportunity is in the ag arena and in taking ag products that already have a really good reputation, but then adding value to them and put them in some of the creative as the creative juices have been flowing through these entrepreneurs, we see a real bright future for our industry.
The overall winner of the contest was Adriana Coppola, a native Italian now living in Johns Creek. She won with her blueberry balsamic vinegar reduction. As ag businesses grow, so does the demand for jobs, and UGA is working hard to fill the demand.
One of our problems, and this is our challenge and probably our challenge for everyone in this room, we only train about half of the needed college-educated workforce in agriculture in the state of Georgia. We need to continue to tell the message to all the young people in the state that this is a wonderful industry, the jobs are well-paying, and you can have a great career because not only do you get a job quickly when you graduate out of an agricultural program, you get a good paying job, but you can go home at night and feel good about what you have done.
Also at the event, Georgia's Farmer of the Year was announced. Beef and poultry producers James David Lyles and his wife Tara of Catoosa County were introduced to the crowd. Congratulations to them and all of those in the industry that make Georgia such an ag-friendly state. In Atlanta, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, nice job, Mark. Coming up after the break, Ranger Nick goes to school and shows us how an FFA teacher in Jackson County is using animals to make a difference. Stay tuned. You're watching the Georgia Farm Monitor. Finally today, if you're a teacher or work with teenage students, then you know how challenging it can be to keep their undivided attention on a daily basis.
Yes, but this month, Ranger Nick introduces us to an FFA teacher who says keeping the attention of her students is no problem at all. Of course, she has a few small helpers.
Hey everybody, I want to take you back to your favorite teacher. That teacher in your world that was so special to you. Everybody's got one. And I want you to think about that person. Chances are you don't remember all the content that he or she taught you. You remember the things that he or she did for you to build your life skills, to build your potential to go out and make a difference in the world. Folks, today we're going to spend some time with an all-star teacher right here in Georgia who's doing all kinds of things to help her FFA students to build leadership and make a difference in the world, and it all involves live animals. It's unbelievable the things that Miss Taylor Brown is doing for students right here. Talking about the FFA, Miss Brown, tell us a little bit about your passion for teaching, what you love the most about teaching and advising with FFA.
Absolutely. Well, I have been at East Jackson High School for 8 years. Teaching in Jackson County is my first job. Right out of college, I landed this job, and I love working with students. Agriculture teachers have a saying that we don't teach agriculture, we teach students. And so I love engaging students in the classroom, in the lab, and outside of the classroom through FFA.
And you know, the thing about FFA is really building premier leadership. This idea in students, not only giving them content to go out and use in the world, but skills in public speaking, leadership, problem solving, critical thinking. What Mrs. Brown is doing right here at East Jackson is giving these students experiences, particularly using animals. I'm going to show the folks in just a second some of these cool critters. Why animals? What is so special, you think, about using animals in your classroom?
Teaching this class has been an entirely new experience for me. This is not something I really grew up doing. I grew up more with livestock animals and plants, but the student demand. Students love animals. Kids love animals. They kind of become different people when they're around animals.
Man, I become a different person. I become Ranger Nick.
They just absolutely love it. It's relaxing for kids. It helps them to focus, and just almost like a therapy for them during the day to spend time with these animals.
You talked about building these life skills in your students, and we looked at that wall in your classroom and all the wonderful awards that your students have got. Now, we're joined by somebody today. We've got a little friend. Tell me about who you're holding today and how you use this little buddy in your teaching.
This is Lucifer. He's a golden bear hamster, and he has some ferocious teeth on him. We were a little afraid of when we got him. But the students, each week, they're divided into groups, and they take care of a specific animal for that week, and they keep some records. They age them, they weigh them, and over Christmas break, one of the students took him home, and when they weighed him after Christmas break, they looked at some of their past data and were concerned about some weight that he had lost. But they did some problem solving and some thinking, and that we realized that he had got an exercise ball. So he had gotten some cardio in, and that had resulted in his weight loss, that he wasn't unhealthy at all, just lost a few.
Think about this for a second. This is not a simulated experience. This is a real-world problem-solving experience that these students are interacting with. Using this animal, they're collecting weight data, they're making decisions. FFA is preparing these students to go out and make a difference in the world. Amazing. So if you're thinking at home that having an animal like Lucy in class is a distraction, Ms. Brown, what would you say to that?
I think that is absolutely not true. I have students in class, they wrap our ball python around their wrists while they're doing their classwork, or they let the rats or the guinea pigs snuggle in their hoodies or their scarves, and they are completely engaged and focused and get their work done while handling animals.
Wow, and we're talking about a way to get students excited about your class and looking forward to being there. That's just amazing, amazing. I gotta say thanks to Ms. Brown today for hanging out with us and talking about ways that animals are used to encourage students to get excited about education, to build skills in agriculture and through the FFA. Amazing stuff. Molly, I appreciate you being with us today too. Y'all, you can check us out on Facebook. Look up Ranger Nick while you're there. Like the Georgia Farm Monitor page. And what Molly, you can go ahead. We'll say it together. Enthusiasm's contagious, so pass it on. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. We'll see you again next month.
Nick, thank you, sir, as always. Thank you, Molly, as well. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, just a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages, plus YouTube.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week, everybody.